Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm back again. Hello, hello, hello. What is this, Monday? I know I got to shave. I'm going to shave. Hello, hello, hello. And I would say this, if you move up on the wrong side of the bed, lay back down. And as you're laying down, I'm praying that God touch your heart. I'm praying that God fix it. I'm praying that God turn it around. Turn around the disaster. Turn around the mess. Turn around the turmoil. I pray that God turn around. But I come today with good news. There's some good stuff that's happening. There's some good stuff that's happening. The scripture says that our weapons of warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. But also the scripture lets us know that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. And I just want to say that get ready for your blessing. There's coming a great outburst of blessings, abundance of rain, or however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. But there's coming a blessing. There's coming blessings. God fixed it so. God fixed it so. And these blessings are taking place, and it started from a desire and a promise. It started from a desire and a promise. Scripture said, if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. And if I could talk about the Solomon's temple. Solomon's temple. And see, the thing about it, his father David, it was in his heart to build the temple. But because his hand was dirty, he had a lot of blood on his hand. But what God did, God honored David. The heart of David, He honored David's heart. He honored David's request, desire, because he was a man after God's own heart. And so, in his request, He allowed Solomon, his son, to build a temple, and then dedicate it back to him. And interesting, we'll give you a couple verses. You're gonna go for yourself. First Chronicles 28. Read all of that. Read the whole 28th chapter. 1 Kings 1:9-1, and also you can read 1 Kings 1, and you can read that whole chapter too. But it talks about a changing. It talks about a shift. It talks about a move. It talks about a move of God, and that move of God came from faithfulness. It came from this man David doing what God said. He wasn't perfect, made a lot of mistakes, but God promised him. And his promise became fulfilled. And the scripture says that after Solomon had built the temple, the scripture says that he was blessed among blessed. And the scripture said everyone heard of the blessings of Solomon. And it says that people would come from far and near. They would come from far and near. And them coming from far and near, and once they get to the house of God, they'll be blessed. Strangers came to be blessed because they came to the place where God promised reside. God promised reside. And I will say this, that in this day and time, blessings are coming, because if you notice, there's been so much warfare, there's been so much that's going on for about over a year. And one of the reasons why, and then I know you heard the last exposure as far as with the stock exchange and how that happened. How they used GameStop and how they ran the price up and made it crash, and how a lot of people got exposed. And see, I'm gonna tell you what's happening. Especially with this last bill that our president has wrote and has signed, executive order, the racial equity bill. And what's gonna happen? What didn't happen before, because in the past, different groups, different ethnic groups, different race of people, they were left out. They were left out of the party. They was left out of the information. They was left out of the blessing. They was left out of the cut. They was left out of it because there was a certain amount of blessings of money that came, that government funded. But for many years and many decades, that money where it's supposed to be dispersed when it comes to equity. Equity means fairness. Equity means that everybody get their part. You know, if ESPN get their part, Roland Martin get his part, or whatever it is. God is leveling the playing field, and because He's leveling the playing field, many wicked people and many hateful people are very angry and very upset at the move of God. But upon this rock, God is going to build His church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. And so there is a shift. There's a shift in power. There's a shift in position. See, that's what it is. It's position, not just financial, but position. There were so many people that should have been in a certain position. Now God's going to put them in certain positions to be able to bring you up, to be able to bless him, to be able to bless her. And see, the door was closed, the door was locked. Matter of fact, the key was hidden. But God has caused God has caused the situation where the key to be found. And in this key being found, wealth is being unlocked. What man didn't know, what people didn't know before, what God's people didn't know before, now their consciousness is aware. They are aware of what's going on, and God is causing the floodgates to come open. He's called, the scripture saying, all you're getting is get an understanding. Wisdom is the principal thing. And what God is doing, God has given the believer. God has given those that are chosen. God has given those that trust and that believe, that's been held back, that's been cheated, that's been politicized, been ostracized, been talked about, all that. God is raising up in this hour now. You're going to have some say where there's bad stuff coming. They're going to say that. They're going to say that because there's an agenda. Just like God speaking, God's prophets and God's voices speak. Apollyon, his voices speak too. And the purpose of his voices to speak is to bring confusion. It is to bring confusion, is to bring confusion in the air. You need to know that the devil, the enemy, his job is to kill, to steal, and destroy. His job is to bring confusion. His job is to bring death. His job is to bring control. His job is to torment. That's where his job is, because God has not given us the spirit of fear. If you're going through some kind of fear and you're being tormented, it didn't come from God. It didn't come from God. Because perfect love in that torment, in that fear, will cast it out. And so I just come to bring good news. I come to bring good news to you, my brothers and my sisters. Get ready for your blessing. Get ready for that outbursting. Get ready for that outsurge. Get ready for God to move. There's a wave. I can see a tidal wave. There's a tidal wave blessing. There's a tidal wave of blessing. And even with a tidal wave has levels. There's a level, some low levels, some high levels. Some way up levels, some down levels. And so there's coming waves of blessing. Those waves, and in those waves are consistently blessed. Consistently being blessed. And as those waves are coming, the wind is pushing them. I can see, you ever see those waves when they hit the shore, how they come in and how the wind, all that, and how they come in, the wind be blowing and stuff like that. The wind is pushing it. This blessing, this wave of blessing, this blessing that's coming, this blessing that's been released, it's got wind behind it. It's got God's wind. It's got God's breath behind it. God's got a tidal wave blessing with his breath attached to it, with his life attached to it. And see, in his breath, hear me, in his breath, not just physical blessing, but this breath is bringing life back. This breath is bringing life back to every dead place, every dead situation, every dead mindset, every dead predicament. God is turning around. God is causing a outgushing. God is causing a outreaching, an outflowing coming. Get thee up, for there's a sound of abundance. Just like what was told during the time of Elijah, when the showdown bill happened, when God won, when God defeated the enemy, and after God defeated the enemy. After God defeated his enemy, defeated the Baal, the prophets of Baal, and answered by fire. After God answered by fire, the rain came. You need to know, after God has answered by fire, and God is answering by fire, now the rain got to come. You need to know, after the fire comes the rain. After the fire comes the rain. The rain is coming, the rain is coming, the rain is coming. The rain is coming, and so get your umbrella. The rain is coming, get your bucket. The rain is coming, the rain is coming, the rain is falling. It's falling in the north. It's falling in the east. It's falling in the south. It's falling in the west. The scripture said, the blessing of the Lord maketh thee rich and add no sorrow. There's coming a blessing that's not going to add no sorrow, but the blessing is going to take you up. The blessing is going to overtake you. The blessing is going to fill you with joy. The blessing is going to overtake you. And not only you're going to be blessed, but you're going to be a blessing to your brother. You're going to be a blessing to your son. You're going to become a blessing, not just to be blessed, but you're going to become a blessing, my brother, my sister. And those are my words this morning. Get ready for abundance. Abundance of rain, abundance of blessings, abundance of breakthroughs, abundance, because the scripture said, if the thief has been caught and out in public, for everybody to see the thieves are being caught, and which means that you got to release that money. You got to release your blessing. You got to release your joy. He's got to release your love. Whatever he stole from you, whatever he stole from you and trying to get the interest back, whatever he stole, how he tried to hustle you, whatever kind of game he tried to play, the game is being played on him now. The tide is turning. The tide is turning, and many of you, it felt like for many years, it felt like you was under the table. Stuff was beating you. Stuff was all on top of you. But I hear God say, the table has turned. The table, hear what I'm saying, has turned. That's my word. God bless you. Good morning.